All right, guys, it's that time of the year. Grab your jet sleds, dust off the little rods, and let's go out and catch some Lake St. Clair walleye through the ice. This is a great time of the year to catch those fish. First ice, those fish are biting, they're in shallow, and it's time. There's some big fish around still. It can be really fun. You can catch numbers and quality fish, and I'm gonna go through the top 5 lures that I use on Lake St. Clair through the ice to catch Lake St. Clair gold walleyes. So stay tuned. I'm gonna kind of bust through these baits, and hopefully it'll help you put a few more walleyes in the frying pan for you this winter. First ice is probably my favorite time of the year to fish for Lake St. Clair walleyes. These fish are in pretty close. I mean, they're within walking distance. You don't need a machine or anything to get to them. You just got to be careful. Take your spud bar, go around, and just kind of watch the wind as well. The whole lake's not frozen yet, so kind of got to just be vigilant of where that wind is blowing, what the weather is doing, just like we would in the boats too, guys. Like, you're going to be watching the weather while you're in your boat. You need to be watching the weather while you're on the ice as well. So with that being said, it's time. Let's get after those Lake St. Clair walleyes. And my all-time favorite bait for jigging for walleyes through the ice is going to be a number 3 Rapala jigging wrap. So there we go. That's it right there. If I can get it to focus. This is your glow perch colors. The number 3, like I said, I have caught a ton of walleyes on Lake St. Clair on that bait through the ice, and you're gonna get some big perch along with them. So what I'm looking for while I'm out there, I'm gonna get set up. I like fishing the evening bite on Lake St. Clair. The morning bite's good too, but I prefer the evening into the dark. So what I'm gonna be doing, getting out there, and I'm gonna be looking for those perch before it gets dark out. Once I find some perch, now I'm gonna set up my base camp, get the holes dug in the shanty, get my lantern set up, get the lights ready, and I'm gonna kind of hunker down there, and that's gonna be my spot. I don't like moving around in the dark. I wanna have my spot set up, shanty set up, and be ready to get those fish as they come through. They're gonna come through in little pods, moving around, chasing bait. And that first, as soon as it starts getting dark out until an hour or 2 into dark, that is when I usually have my best success catching those walleyes through the ice. So like I said, that number 3 jigging wrap, the glow perch, probably my favorite. I'm always gonna have that one tied on. With the water's really clean, then I'll try maybe like a chrome blue. This is also a number 3 jigging wrap. This is a really good bait too. Usually if I'm on a jigging wrap bite and I've caught them a couple days in a row or something, I'll have a chrome blue and a glow perch tied on. Those are my 2 favorite colors. But guys, they bite a plethora of different colors out there. Everybody's got their go-to, but that is a really good starting point. So my next bait, I prefer this bait when the water's got some stain to it, a little bit dirty even. And this bait's a loud bait. It's gonna rattle a lot. It's gonna draw fish in from quite a long ways away. And it's a little Rippin wrap by Rapala. I like to change the hooks out. I'll put a red hook on the back there. And this is, again, it's your ultralight Rippin wrap. This is a number 4. Glow perch again on this one. And then I also like the chrome blue. This is another one. If I'm on a Rippin wrap bite, these are my 2 go-to colors. Again, everybody's got their own go-to colors, and they will bite a lot of different colors, just whatever you have confidence in. I mean, in my box, I've got 15 different colors. So, but those are what I'm gonna start with and kind of go from there. If the fish are coming right up to it and then you see them on your graph and they just kind of stop, and they don't fully commit, you know, that's when I'm gonna start changing colors out before baits. If I'm kind of seeing the fish on the bottom and I can't get them to follow it at all, that's when I'm gonna start changing baits. So that's kind of the second, my favorite bait when it's really, really dirty. That bait's really loud. You can really rip it and get some action, get some noise, get it down in that sand and mud and just kind of tear the bottom up, and it'll bring those fish in from a long ways away. So I've seen sturgeon react to that bait before under there. They can hear it from a long ways away too. So if you know those sturgeon are kind of down there messing around, the walleyes aren't far behind. And if the sturgeon can hear it, the walleyes can hear it, the perch can hear it, and they're gonna bite those baits. So that's my favorite bait when it's really, really dirty. Like I said, I mean, they're loud and they attract them. They draw fish from a long ways away. So the ultralight Rippin wrap, you're gonna have to have a couple of those in your box. All right, so the first two baits that we went over kind of have more of a darting and then kind of a dropping action to them. And then those are my two favorite as far as those go. Now we're gonna get into kind of more of a fluttering action, so more of a spoon. And when the water's got a little color to it, but maybe say it's not dirty, but it's just a little stain, that's when I'm liking this Northland Tackle Buck Shot Spoon. This is a really, really good bait. And make sure you have red hooks on there, and this one's a glow perch as well. Something about that perch color, especially a glow perch. You're gonna catch perch on this bait, you're gonna catch walleye on this bait. I've caught pike on it, muskies. That's about it through the ice out there on Lake St. Clair, but just another really, really good bait. It's got a little bit of drawing power. It's not as loud as that Rippin wrap, so it's a little bit more subtle. So like I said, when it's not real dirty, but it's got some color to it, and you need that fluttering still, that's a really, really good bait to have. So my next bait, kind of staying with that spoon pattern and having that fluttering action, is the old Do-Jigger. Now, this one is a bloody nose. This one's, a staple on Lake St. Clair. And then I've got a Wonderbread color as well, another Lake St. Clair special. These are two really, really good baits. I like these baits when the water is pretty clear though. And I want that glow color, especially when I'm fishing like into the night. Now, in the morning is kind of where I'm gonna go with more of the silvers, kind of as that sun's coming up. But fishing into the night, in the evening, into the darkness, that's when I want to have a glow color. So these are my two favorite colors, bloody nose and a Wonderbread. I've caught a ton of fish on a Do-Jigger. Make sure you get into your tackle stores quick and get some Do-Jiggers, because once that Do-Jigger bite gets fired up and everybody's talking about it, they're gonna be hard to find. So make sure you get in there, stock up on Do-Jiggers. They're an awesome, awesome bait on Lake St. Clair. Like I said, clear water, it's a killer. You're gonna catch some really, really big perch on these baits, as well as your walleye through the ice. And it's just, like, if I was gonna, tomorrow when I go out fishing, I'm gonna have all four of these baits tied on. The first one that I'm gonna drop down the hole is gonna be a Do-Jigger, just because the water's a little bit clearer where I wanna fish. And I'll kind of rifle through my four baits and kind of see what's going, what's not. And but my inkling is a Do-Jigger bite is going to be really, really good. So like I said, that is my favorite color right there. Wonderbread. You can't beat it on Lake St. Clair. Red hook. That's it. That's my go-to right there. I'm starting with that one tomorrow. So my fifth and final lure, it's not really a lure, but it's a setup that I will have down every single time I'm fishing for walleyes on Lake St. Clair, and that's gonna be just a dead stick with a bobber. I prefer a little treble hook, just one little treble hook. Let me see if I can get in focus there. There you go. Just one little single red treble hook, one split shot, roughly 6 inches above that, and then a slip bobber with the bead on it so I can adjust the depth to wherever I need it. Pretty smooth drag on a reel, 6-pound mono, and a live emerald shiner is what I'm going to be putting on that treble hook. And I'm gonna have that set off to my side where I can kind of see the bobber out of the corner of my eye in the hole, and I'm still gonna be working my jigging rod right in front of me. So that's one thing that I've caught so many walleyes on my dead stick that I will have one out every single time. So every time I'm going, I'm gonna have some emerald shiners with me, and we're gonna tear them up. We're gonna put one of those emerald shiners down there, and with all 4 of these baits that I've went through, I am going to be tipping them with a shiner, a live, well, if I use just the head, it's gonna be dead, but a fresh emerald shiner. I like to just kind of pinch them off right behind the head and put just the head on my treble hook. On all of these baits, even the Rippin wrap, I will still put some scent on there. I love having fresh scent while I'm ice fishing, especially for these walleyes. It feels like they just kind of come from a little bit longer distance to my baits when I have a fresh shiner on there. And you're gonna want emerald shiners, so stop at the shop on your way to the Metro Park, to Crocker, wherever you're launching from, Selfridge. Stop at the shop, get yourself a dozen emerald shiners, because it'll pay dividends. Especially like there's nights where you don't need them, but the nights where you need them far outnumbers the other way. So make sure you've got live bait, and keep your bait that's on your treble hook nice and lively. I like to put a really nice minnow on there, and you're gonna catch perch on it, and you're gonna catch walleye. And I've caught smallmouth, I've caught pike, just about anything that swims down there that's a predator is gonna bite a dead stick. So I'll put that right down there, about 1.5 feet off bottom, and just make sure that shiner cannot get into if there's any grass. Hopefully you're fishing a weed bed. If there's weeds down there, make sure your shiner isn't getting into the weeds. You wanna make sure it's still free above the weeds so that those fish can find it and they don't have to dig through the weeds to get it. But you'll see, once those fish come in, that shiner will go crazy. Your bobber will start swimming around the hole, then it'll go bloop, and you just kind of reel down and just pull into it nice and easy. And a lot of times you'll have them right there in the roof of the mouth. And that is a way that I've caught a ton of walleyes on Lake St. Clair. So make sure you've got a dead stick. So just kind of wrapping it up, we've got the Do-Jigger, we've got the Buck Shot Spoon, we've got the old number 3 jigging wrap, and the Rippin wrap, ultralight Rippin wrap. And all of these colors, when I'm fishing, like I said, I like to fish the evening going into the night. I want something that glows. And make sure you got a nice flashlight so you can charge up those lures, get them glowing nice and bright, and then just send them down. And pay attention to your electronics too. Watch those for those fish come in. Like I said, I want to get out there before it gets dark out, get set up where I know there's some perch around. Where the perch are around, a lot of the times as soon as it gets dark, those walleyes are going to move in right where the perch were. So they're either eating the same emerald shiners or they're eating the perch, depending on how big the perch are, how big the walleyes are. But that is usually a telltale sign. Like once you find the perch, you're going to have walleyes very, very close by. So I hope that these tips have helped you out, guys. There's fish out there. We've got ice. Let's get out there and get after them. And just make sure you've got your spud bar. Be careful, use common sense, have lights out there, and get after them and have a great time. Fill up those frying pans with Lake St. Clair walleye through the hard water.